quick introduction about worms and parasites. So this is probably the most important part of managing worms, is understanding their life cycle. Because if you break the life cycle, you can actually limit worm burdens. So if we just have a chat in general about what is a parasite, well, a parasite is an infectious agent which will cause a disease. So any infectious disease is caused by something that we call a pathogen. So if something is considered pathogenic, that means it causes disease. So a pathogen can be a virus, it can be a bacteria, or it can be a parasite. Parasite is a very, very broad term, and it can range from anything from malaria. The term parasite also ranges all the way up to what we would call like macroparasites, things that we can see with our eyes. So that's like lice and worms. The interesting thing about the bigger parasites, so in terms of an agent that causes disease, they are very big. So the way that they interact with the immune system is completely different to how, say, a viral infection will interact with an animal or your immune system. And that's one of the reasons why horses will continue to get worms. You know, when you get a virus, you get sick, you get over it, you don't catch it again because you end up with immunity to it. It doesn't quite work the same way with parasites, because the immune system has to kill a worm is completely different to how it has to kill, say, a virus. Horses will develop immunity to worms, but all that means is their worm burden will be lower, not so much that they won't have worms. You come into contact, or the horse comes into contact with the infective stage of parasite when it eats food or water that is contaminated with feces. So the worms go in through the mouth, and then the infective stage will leave through the manure, and then at some point the horse comes back in contact with that manure again and will be reinfected. So with horses, the reason they keep getting worms is because they do not have sewage systems. They poo where they eat. And I think that's going to be a problem we're always going to have, unless they live in, concrete blocks that you can pressure wash out every day.